In today's video, we'll be making a fishing pole rack out of some pallet wood. That's what it's going to look like in the end. It'll hold 8 fishing poles. All you got to do is drill some little mountain screw holes in here. You can put it wherever you want it. Alright, let's do it. Here's some of the supplies we're going to need for the fishing pole rack we're going to do. You're going to need some pallet wood. A speed square is good for cutting square lines, measuring, and it's also going to be pretty good for cutting the angle at which we're going to cut to lead into the hole to kind of make us like a hook in to hang the pole in horizontally on the wall. Measuring tape, some screws, any type of screws that you have laying around. I'm going to use a 1.25" spade bit, pencil, circular saw, and a jig saw. I'm going to use a jig saw to cut the angled lines. But you can also use a circular saw for that. But because I have the jig saw, I'm going to use it. I'm also going to use a table saw too. But you don't have to have a table saw. You can rip these straight through down the middle with your circular saw. And I'll show you how to do that too. But so yeah, that's everything you really need. All right. So we're gonna square up these ends and cut this to our desired length. And after that, we'll rip them in half. And then we'll find the center line and the pieces that we ripped in half to cut our holes in. What you want to do is get straight edges on all of these because I just ripped them off of a pallet. So to get a straight edge, you just lay down your speed square like that and measure a line. Do it right here too. And we'll take a line and we'll figure out the length that we want it to be. This one will be good for 30 inches. Take your speed square and you just make yourself a straight line. You see how that's kind of cut at a corner because when I just ripped it off the pallet. Same with that one right there, same with that right there. So now we'll take our circular saw and we're going to rip off all these edges so they're square. If you're not good at using a circular saw, you can always use your speed square as a guide for the blade. You line it up on your little hole right here, and then this only works for like short stuff. So. And then you would use that as your guide. Looks pretty square to me. That's one way to check it. It looks pretty flat. Another way to check it like that. We can continue that process for the other 3 sides. Not too shabby. Alright. Well, from there, we're going to find the middle of these boards, and they measure about 5.5. So the middle of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So we're going to do a line all the way down the middle. I want to drag this line all the way to the top because it's going to curve. You need to measure the other side, try to match them up as best as possible. So for our really ugly piece of wood here, I'm going to rip it with the circular saw. Just try to do my best to go straight down all the way. And for the other prettier looking piece, we're going to use the table saw, which I've already have it measured out to 2 3/4. So it should cut us 2 good lengths of that. Got a little lumpy right here. Left side was way straighter. That's okay. These are going to be our support pieces to hold up the hooks, so they don't have to be pretty or even. But yeah, could definitely do a lot better. But at the end of the day, it is pallet wood. I never follow the laser on these budget circular saws. I haven't used very many other than these kind, but that laser is always crooked. I follow the blade and match it, you know, so it's always good to have a good pair of eyeglasses so you keep your eyes open the whole entire time. And we're gonna go strip this one over here on the table saw. I think sounds like it's seen better days. Now we got to find the center of this, and we're going to start marking them, and we're going to start drilling holes with our speed bit. Long board, it's 2 3/4 inches wide. That's what we cut it down to. We're going to start our cuts right here. I start 2 inches from the top, and I mark that line right there. And then I'm using a 1.25 inch spade bit, so I mark the diameter of that right down here, and then I mark the center line right there. That's about 10/16. And from the top of the center line, or the top of the circle that we'll be cutting with the spade bit, I do a 45-degree angle from the top, and then I go down to the bottom part of the circle that will be cut, and then I draw another 45-degree angle. To find the 45-degree angle, you take your speed square. You take your speed square like this, and you cut the board in half, and you'll find your 45 right here. So then you find your top measurement right here, and then you mark it off with a pencil. And then you go all the way down to the bottom. And you mark that one off. So you can kind of see that's the 45 right there. And that is the angle that it'll cut. So it'll look something kind of like that right before we use the jigsaw or circular saw to cut the lines out. So from the bottom of our first circle, I'm going to count down 2 inches. Then I'm going to count to the middle. It's our center line and the bottom of the circle. And I take the speed square, find my 45-degree angle at the top of the circle to the bottom of the circle. Alright, if you want to go a little faster and you've already done one board, all your measurements on one board, you can just take your speed square and just go straight across like that. Now it's time to drill some holes. That one looks a little wobbly. Looks like it started out pretty good. And then after this crappy part right here, it got a little sloppy. Damn it. Oh well. It's kind of what we're going for. If it does get sloppy like that, these will be on separate mounted pieces, so you can scoot one up a little bit. I mean, they wouldn't be level, but the fishing poles would be. Isn't that all that really matters anyways? Alright, so pretty much all that's left to do is mount this onto the other board and cut these lines out. You can use a circular saw or you can use a jigsaw. It's entirely up to you. I'll show you how I do it with the circular saw real quick. I'll give you a pretty good cut. I think I'm going to just keep cruising with the circular saw here. All right, what I like to do here is kind of eyeball it right here into the middle. And I'll just strike a line down here. So as long as I know that line is matching up on the other side, it should be okay. Drill us a hole or two. First one pretty much done. You can add more screws in the middle if you want. I'll do that after I do the first one's all done there. Little gap in the middle, but we can throw more screws in the back if we want to. I have probably have to dig out some more uniform screws so they can all be the same. But that's pretty much the gist. That's what you're going for. We got the other one done up here. Cool, so that's how it's done. You know the golden rule. If you build yourself a fishing pole rack that holds 8 fishing poles, and you don't have 8 to fill it, better get to Tackle Warehouse or something like that, or Cabela's or wherever you go, and go buy you 8 fishing poles. That's the golden rule. Thanks for watching. Sloppy, fast, but effective. Pallet projects are probably some of the best things you can do if you want to really get into woodworking hardcore. I've built some nicer stuff. I'm particularly fond of my Leopold bench there. That's a super easy project. Google it, YouTube it. I don't think I'll make a video on it because it's a lot of people have done it and they've probably done it better than I have. But still, woodworking's fun nonetheless. And you know, if you get some use out of the stuff you build, you get most of the stuff for free, excluding your tools, unless you can get those for free. It's a good time all around. Other than that, can't really say too much. All right, have a good day. Take it easy.